last time I spoke to you, Colin Bell, injuries were a big thing. You were coming back from them, but still, it just seems that every time you're coming up to a competition, you're kind of crocked by the injuries, which made a difficult job sometimes more difficult. How are things at the moment?
At the moment, looking good, and I hope that's how they remain, of course. And looking ahead to the next campaign, I think we have a realistic chance of being able to qualify. But I've always said in every interview, and also to the girls, that there is an element of luck that you will need as well to be able to qualify. And that being in that all of the girls remain fit and healthy. When we're at full strength, we have a really good team. But if we do get 2 or 3 injuries, that will obviously set us back. But now we've had a little bit more time to prepare more players. We've got a lot of good young players coming through, gaining that experience, that if players do get injured, that we can hopefully then compensate, which we were not able to do last campaign.
When I think of young players, I always think of Leanne Kiernan, who kind of came out, obviously not from nowhere, but to those of us who mightn't have been seeing grassroots football, for such a young woman, she was so composed, and now she's gotten to go overseas as well. Do you think that makes a difference in her development?
Yeah, for sure. Leanne had made a really good move forward with us, with Shelbourne, but she needed to be polished off, basically. And that move to West Ham has been brilliant for her. Good coach, good players, good team, playing against good players every week. That's really brought Leanne on. And she's also a really, really strong character. She's a great girl, got a massive heart, and a player that will listen and wants to learn. And she's made massive strides forward and is our top striker.
It's interesting you use the word polish. I think this is often what the Irish national teams are missing a lot of the time, is perhaps that polish from game experience at the top level. And I know more and more of our women are getting it, but would it be too simplistic to say that often, aside from the injuries, is that the difference sometimes, that polish?
For sure. It's quality, it's being exposed to these pressure matches more often, having that experience, and that's what our players need. And you can just see this season, for example, Katie McCabe has had a really good season, Louise Quinn, and they've become champions of England. And knowing, what it's like then, every match counts. You've got Man City breathing down your neck, you've got Chelsea breathing down your neck. You can't afford to make many mistakes. And it's the same with the other players that have been now playing abroad. They need that kind of competition. They need that stress factor as well, and being able to deal with those kind of situations. And that's really decisive for me, that when you're in a pressure situation, are you still able to make good decisions, logical and plausible decisions? And if you don't, you'll get punished at that level. And that's what we found out, for example, a couple of weeks ago when we played Italy. We had a good game, and we should have got something out of the game, but we made 2 poor decisions, and Italy took their chances, and that is at the end of the day, that's the difference. So we have to get over that next hurdle. So the more exposure the girls have in those kind of situations within their club structures, the better.
Yes, actually, that's a very interesting point. When you watch them, the play is often good, and then it's one small mistake, either concentration turns off or the other team are just quicker at making the decisions. Now, they seem to be improving at that, but they're definitely not the finished article yet, and you have a few months now. Is it Montenegro next, am I right there?
Yeah, like you said correctly as well, we're not the finished article. We're still working and still having to look and address those kind of situations to make sure that we're not playing into the opponent's hands, because again, against Italy we could have scored 3 goals. But you don't, so we're letting them off the hook at their end, but making poor decisions which are then leading to goals. So we have to cut that out. But we're getting better at that area. But like I said before, it really is about being exposed to those kind of situations more often, getting that composure then, and remaining calm and collected in those kind of stress situations. And now we've got Montenegro coming up in September, so it'll be in the end of August. I think the 26th of August we'll get the girls in, and then we'll be as prepared as we can be. But also the home-based sessions that we're doing here are obviously very, very helpful for the girls to get them ready for those kind of moments. What
is a good, achievable, focused target for this women's team for the next competition?
To qualify. I'm absolutely confident that we are capable of doing that. We are good enough. We've got, like I say, competition now also for places. It's not a given that you're going to be in the squad all the time. So I've tried to ruffle it up a little bit and bring players in, leave players out. Give explanations. Maybe don't give an explanation, just to see what kind of reaction I get back. But more often than not, we will talk to each other, and we've got a good pool of players now. But we've still had a number of players that have been with me all the time. So it's not just like you're experimenting all the time. We've got a strong core of players. And I honestly believe if, like I say, the girls remain active and remain very, very ambitious and humble, but also remain fit and are prepared to invest more than everybody else. This is like a floskel or a phrase, but there's no way around it. We have to do more than everybody else in this group. And if we're not prepared to do that, then we won't qualify. If we are prepared to do that, we have a really good chance of getting to the Euros 2021, and that's the dream, to get to England. It couldn't be better for us, but the hardest part is to get there.